Hey, it's Cobra here at MaddenGuides.com, and for this video breakdown, we're going to take a look at a play on the defensive side of the ball, and it's called 46 Bear Under. The name of the defense is called LB Dogs 3. This is a blitz that you can bring some pressure on the quarterback, and it's not hard to set up. It's pretty league friendly if you're playing in a connected franchise and you're not wanting to do a whole lot and moving players all over the place and trying to, break the bank as far as doing all kinds of hot routes and all that stuff. This defense is not for you. This is more of a defense that is very simple to set up. Matter of fact, you'll see as we go through it that it brings the pressure with very minimal as far as any kind of hot routes or moving anybody. So let's go ahead and take a look at it on the field here in a second. And I just want to go ahead and, like I usually do, I like to go ahead and show you what we're going to run and from what playbook. So that way if you're following along, you can just go find it and not have to try to figure out what I'm running. So on the offensive side of the ball, we're going to go ahead and run this particular offensive play. It's called gun doubles mesh, pretty popular passing concept. A lot of players like to run this one, at least the mesh passing concept itself. So if you're following along, it's out of the Cardinals playbook. And then as far as on the defense, I've already mentioned it, the 46 Bear Under LB Dogs 3. So let's go ahead and get ready to get on the screen here and just take a look at these. As far as this setup goes. Losing my train of thought. When you get around 50, you start to lose your mind a little bit. All right, now I want to build off of something I talked about in another video breakdown. It talks about how to get a 12th defender on the field without using the glitch. This is a good example of this, another blitz setup that you can use when your opponent gets down inside the red zone, particular, in my opinion, anywhere inside the 12, then I would consider start using this type of stuff I'm showing. I'm not saying you can't use this defense anywhere on the field. What I am telling you is if you use it on the field, where it's further out, say they're at your 25 and you start using it, they're going to have some open holes in here, especially deep, and that's what I want to point out. So it's all right to use these defenses if you want. Just know these are really specific more towards when they're down inside the 12-yard line, especially, like I said, definitely in the red zone. But the further they get closer to the end zone, closer to your end zone, the better chance you have of having success with these defenses. So let's go ahead and take a look at this one. As you can see on your screen, you've got 3 defenders that are going to go ahead and drop back in deep coverage. So you got those 3 defenders. And then you're also going to have a couple other defenders that are going to be playing zone coverage underneath. So you got these 3 guys, playing zone coverage underneath. You got 2 guys in the flats, and you got 1 guy in a hook. All right, with that, when you got that many guys, that means you got 5 pass rushers that are coming after the quarterback. And as you look at it, I believe, here, you're going to see these are the 5 that are going to be coming after the quarterback right here, those 5 right there. Now, with this particular defense, the setup's pretty simple. As I mentioned, you don't have to do a whole lot, which makes it pretty effective in my opinion. All you got to do is basically take control of this guy right here, which is this safety. And if you want, just kind of move him down into the gap. Well, I'm going to go ahead and move him into the A gap between the left guard and center. And then I'm going to go ahead and put him in QB spy. Now, the design of this particular setup that I'm showing, you're wanting to get pressure coming off the edge here from this linebacker here. But to do that, the only other thing you got to do, and this is very key to this defense working, and I want to show you. I'm going to go ahead and run it, and then I'll show you what you have to do to make sure you get the pressure on the quarterback. So let's go ahead and run the play. And you're going to see he gets blocked. Now, there's a reason behind that, and I'm going to show you why. And then we're going to go back into this setup, and then we'll go back into it now, and I'll show you why he got blocked. If you come back and look, this defender here as well is supposed to be blitzing, but look how far he's off the line of scrimmage. So let's go ahead and look at that and see what it looks like in instant replay. And this will give you an example to why this didn't work, at least initially. See how far he's off, and he ends up getting blocked. Nothing happens there that we want. We're not getting any kind of reaction. In particular, what I'm really wanting to happen is this guy right here. I don't want him blocking that guy right here. I want him to slide in and look to block this guy right here, which didn't happen, right? So even though I've got this defender right here in the A gap and he's in QB spy. Now keep in mind he's not blitzing, but he is in QB spy. And what I'm hoping for is that I'll get that I'll get this guard here to look to block to him, and then everybody else just changes up. As I mentioned earlier, this left tackle would look to block to the inside, allowing me to get this pressure on the outside. Didn't happen, right? So let's go back and show you. I just showed you why it didn't happen. That's because of that linebacker. So what you need to do is, and I talked about this earlier, a lot of times one of the things you're going to want to do is, let's go ahead and get out of this defense for a second. If you're not using the alignment, which is here, base align, then you might want to go ahead and use it here. Put base align. Now keep in mind, you can do this without having that base align on. You'll just have to, when you're on the field, you always have to hit base align. Here, you just already have it set for that. So keep that in mind. Now again, that's up to you if you want to have it as your default or not. It doesn't really make a difference, but you do have to have it on to make this work, and I'll show you why in a second. So let's go back into the offensive play that we were running, back into the gun doubles. And I realize also I'm sending everybody out on this, but that's fine because I want to show you how the blitz works. Keep in mind, if they leave the running back in, may pick up that blitzer, but then you're hoping that maybe in this case with the 49ers, they've got a stud right here, Bosa right here. Maybe he can get in and break past the left guard and get some pressure on the quarterback himself. All right, so let's go back in here. And if you go back and look, now that I have base align on, there's your linebacker. If you look at him, you'll see he's blitzing. See right now he's showing he's blitzing right here. So what you're trying to do is, now that he's there, now you got your blitz to work. So now I guarantee it, when I bring my safety down and when I put him into, let's check this out here. This guy right here is going to get the pressure on the quarterback now when I bring that safety down. So I'm going to go ahead and put him in QB spy, bring him down into that A gap like I'm showing here earlier. There's the setup, right? And then I'm just going to go ahead and snap it. Now watch what happens. Now I got my pressure. All right. And then again, I have my 12th defender with the end of the back of the end zone. I have a guy in QB spy against a team that has a fast quarterback. You got somebody spying a quarterback. In this case, it's safety, which is a better matchup, in my opinion, as far as spying a quarterback than having a defensive lineman or having a linebacker, even in most cases. So now you get the pressure. The mesh concept, in this particular play that we're running, you got this taken away. Now, I'm not saying this is always going to take everything away, but the mesh concept, this does. Okay, so you got that totally taken away. There's no way they're going to get that in there. Plus, you got the QB spy. And the other things you watch, you're going to see that the outside's covered as far as the halfback is covered out there on the outside. You got this guy who's dropping back in that flat zone. He can come up here and defend him. And then as you look at your screen, as we go back in here, then we also got these two defenders, the one dropping back in the hook zone, and then plus the guy I'm in control of right here taking that away. So you got all this taken away. Now, if you see somebody, for example, maybe this guy comes across in this deep cross, or not deep cross, but I can't get my illustration right there. But say this guy's coming in on a deep end. Well, then if you see something like that, and you got to be watching, then you might want to go ahead and drop the guy you're in control of back in this area here. Now the other option is, and let's go a little bit further with this. Let's go back a little bit further in here. Let's go back into the coaching options. I want to show you something else you guys can do. That if you're inside that 12-yard line, where they're inside the 12-yard line as far as your opponent, then you might want to go into here and might want to go down here. You can do protect the sticks, or you can do something along this lines. Go into your hooks and maybe drop them to 10 yards. So I'm going to go ahead and drop this. So let's go ahead and run that play one more time here. Go back into the defense that I was showing. Again, it's the LB Dogs 3 out of the 46 Bear under. Go back into the offensive play, and keep in mind I'm running this 46 against a shotgun formation because I know I'm in zone coverage, so I really don't care as far as the linebackers, as far as their speed ratings, because they're dropping back in zone coverage anyways, and I've already got two linebackers blitzing as it is coming in after the quarterback. I've got guys coming in, and the fact I'm in zone, so I really don't have to worry about as far as the speed that the offense might have on the offensive side of the field because I'm in zone anyway. Zone kind of negates the speed on the offensive side of the ball. That's why a lot of teams, if they're playing against a team with a lot of speed, rather than running man coverage the whole game, they'll come out in zone because they know that they can cover those receivers a lot better in zone coverage because they don't have the athletes that can run with the faster receivers on the offensive side of the ball, or at least the skill positions. So that's why you see teams do that. So let's go back into the mesh again, back into LB Dogs 3. And then we're going to go ahead, again, as you look at it, since we got base align on, this guy's right here. Now, say that we didn't have base align on. Let's just go ahead and move it, turn it off. Now it's off, right? Then you would have to hit base align to bring him in like that. Now you see how he moved in. You just saw that linebacker come from here to here when I put base align. So that's why you can have base align on by default. If you don't want to, that's your choice. I mean, either way, it doesn't matter. You're going to, if you want to run this defense, you have to have base align on. All right, or at least use the setting manually and hit it by, by hitting your controller. All right, so with all that said, let's go back, and I'm losing my train of thought and everything I'm showing here. We're going to go ahead and put this guy here, and then we're going to go ahead and bring him into the gap there, as you can see there. And then keep in mind, this time we've got this hook zone defender. He's now going to drop about 10 yards, so he should end up somewhere in this area here as we run this play. And then just watch what happens here. And hopefully we'll still get our edge heat. We got our edge heat, then we got our guy dropping back, and then he ended up dropping back. So that's a little bit something else you can do. If he's not dropping far enough back, put him at 15 yards. Just make sure he gets in the end zone if you need to, if you're worried about someone sneaking a receiver into the back of the end zone and somewhere in this area here. If you're worried about somebody dropping someone in this area here, then set your linebacker, 10 yards back, 15 yards back, or you control the guy that you're in control of that I told you put in QB spy. Go ahead and do that with him. So anyways, that's some things you can do with this. Again, if you were to run this particular blitz outside of the, further down in the middle of the field, or say at the 40-yard line, then just know if you did this, let's go ahead and respot the ball here. If you did that, then there's a good chance that you're going to end up. Let's go back here and back into the defense here. I lost my train of thought again. You're going to end up possibly giving up a big play. I mean, that's the bottom line. You're going to end up giving up a big play because you ran it outside of where I've been showing with this particular video breakdown, rather than inside the 12-yard line. Might be asking for trouble. Let's go ahead and look at it here in a second. Now, of course, there's things you can do. Let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and respot the ball here. Let's just say they got the ball. Let's say they got the ball all the way down here at your. Let's just say they got it about the 45-yard line or so. So let's just do this, so we can watch what I'm trying to show you. I think you guys already know what I'm talking about here, but say that you got them at the 45-yard line. It's 2nd and 10, whatnot. Maybe they try to run an inside run play, didn't gain any yards, whatever. So here you are with your defense, and you decide to go ahead and run this play I'm showing. So you decide to bring this guy up here, just like this, and put him in that gap, right? Let's get him a little bit closer, but let's go ahead and run the play. And we get that pressure off the edge, but they didn't get sacked. Maybe they were able to pick up the blitz somehow. Maybe they did something. Maybe they left the halfback in, whatnot. But as you watch this, there's the problem with that is, and that's what I was talking about earlier, you could go ahead and have that deep middle. Now, with that said, so if you look at it, this whole deep middle is open. What you could do, and I think you guys might be thinking this already, I hope you guys are, especially if you got my kind of mindset, then maybe you went into the coaching adjustments and you decided to do this. Maybe you went in here, hey, they're at my 40-yard line. I got a little bit of, maybe I don't want to give up that deep ball. So I'm going to drop my linebacker, the one playing hook zone, back 20 yards. Let's see what happens with that. So let's go back into it. I know when I do these videos, I kind of get a lot winded, and it's because I really like to go in depth when I explain things. The job that I have when I'm training people at work that I work at, I really go into depth on a lot of things, and maybe I overdo it, but I like to make sure everybody knows what's going on. And that's why my videos are a little bit longer than maybe some of the other videos you might see out there. But at any rate, this guy here, I'm going to go ahead and put him in QB spy. And while I'm at it, I'm just going to go ahead and leave the halfback in the pass block. So he's going to go ahead and pass block here. Oops, hit the wrong button again. All right, so he's going to pass block, right? Let's see what happens this time with this and see what we get out, what kind of reaction we get. Oop. Got all these darn controllers going on too. All right, so here we go with that. right there. We got the offensive play. We got the running back running the mesh. Let's just send this both these guys on streaks just for the heck of it. All right, see, now I've got one of those covered somewhat, but he ended up completing it deep down the field. So maybe I need to set more, and maybe I need to go 25 yards. The point is, you can set that linebacker to drop down that deep middle to help try to take away a little bit of that. Take a little bit away as far as the deep middle goes. And now you're just hoping you get pressure on the quarterback. In this case, the halfback blocked, which I said might happen. But also the other thing is, you watch this. I've also got this guy here, the one I'm in control of. So I can still defend the short passes with this guy, the safety that I brought up, and put him in QB spy, while this guy, who's supposed to be playing the hook zone, is now dropping back. You see him dropping back deep down the field there, which is nice. Now I'm just hoping that the one of my pass rushers can get past the halfback. I'll take my chances that this halfback won't be able to block this guy. And something else too, we have Bosa over here who's an X factor. If we wanted to with this particular defense, we could switch him over to this side and have him lined up somewhere over here, possibly, or have someone. If we have one of our best pass rushers and we know the heat's coming in, maybe they are leaving the halfback in the pass block, maybe we can get an X factor here who can get past the halfback quick and still get the pressure on the quarterback. So I just want you guys to think about all this stuff, take it all in. A lot of things going on here with this video breakdown, but again, I really like to go into detail when I do my breakdowns, and I really like to show you what can happen and all the scenarios that might go on as far as with this particular play or any play I break down. Same way I do at work. I talk about all the different scenarios. What if this happens? What if this has happened? How are you going to take care of it? What are you going to do? So I hope that kind of gives you guys my mindset as I'm breaking these things down. So these videos are rather long. That's why. So at any rate, guys, this one was another defense I wanted to show. I can't say it's my favorite defense out there, but it's definitely one that I like to throw in, especially down inside the red zone, inside that 12. This is one that I'm probably be running if you ever caught me playing online. The name of the defense is called 46 Bear Under LB Dogs 3. Hey Madden gamers, if you enjoy this Madden video or any other video, please subscribe to the Madden Guides YouTube channel. And as always, thanks for watching and for your support.